Yes, my people, this is our guest today, Mr. James Fleet. Welcome! And you are not mistaken, you watching Héctor Luis Sin Censura. Take it to the market. Llévatelo al mercado. Yes, here we are. Thank you, Mr. James, for being here with us today.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
I'm very excited to have you in this section of And Now in English. Guys,
Excited to be here. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this program. I'm honored.
it's a pleasure to us. I know Mr. James almost more than 20 years, right?
29 years.
29 years, guys. We have been working together and sharing
That's a long
our
time.
artistic field. One thing that I remember when I met Mr. James was that he always was carrying this bag. Every place that we was going, he was carrying this weird bag. And I asked him one day, "Excuse me, what you carrying that bag all the time?" And he very serious told me, "Hector, here is my heart." And he opened the bag and showed me. What you show me?
My flute, my saxophone, musica.
And then I realized that was one of his passions, the music. Then a couple of months or years later, the school decided to do murals in the walls, in the white walls that we have. And he was selected among the people to make a painting in the wall. Then I realized that was Mr. Fleet's second passion. Mr. Fleet, what came from in your life as a passion, the painting or the music? Tell us about
That's a great question. So a great question requires a great answer. And the real answer is that it all happened simultaneously. I grew up in a musical family. My parents were patrons of the arts. So I cannot think of a time that I was not either listening to music, There was music all over in the household. My father was a professional jazz guitarist who played with the kings and queens of jazz.
What is for the name?
Yeah, so my father's nickname in music was Biddy, B-I-D-D-Y, Biddy Fleet. And he's a well-known guitarist back in the 1930s, 1940s, 1950s. And his claim to fame is that he taught a saxophonist named Charlie Parker. And Charlie Parker took the information that my father had given him back in 1939, and he ran with it. And that was the beginning of modern jazz.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so music has always been a part of my household. I was originally a guitarist, then my father taught us how to play piano. We took piano lessons, then I picked up a saxophone, picked up a flute, boom, boom, boom. But that was also, that coincided with me as an artist. I cannot think of a time that I didn't have a paintbrush in my hand or a pencil sketching something, paper in front of me. So the creative process and the visual and the musical have all been together in my lifetime as one from the very beginning.
Interesting. Now we know that he had these two passions, music and painting.
Absolutely.
He's a beautiful drawing, beautiful painting that we will be sharing later. But I want to talk now about another passion that I found out about Mr. Fleet. I stole from the web and the media. He plays recently a video that includes his other passion, his family, and his friends. And he say like that, and the video have music from your band,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And we will be censor now that video. But before, you want to explain to host the people in that video?
Right. Basically, this is going to be like a montage of starting with me playing a little bit of saxophone. Then it will segue into my 4 children. First, my beautiful wife, Linda, is in the video because she's been with me for 41 years. We've been together for 41 years, married for 35 years. And
he's a wonderful lady there. I know. Hi, Mama.
Yeah,
I know personally her. She know me, but craziness.
She's been a complete blessing to my life. And so very briefly, it's a little bit of me with various instruments. It's going to be a lot of family, my children, my extended family, friends, and musical friends from my past and my present, and of course, my siblings. And most important, this is why I'm here. My parents are in it because they were my mentors. Beautiful father, beautiful mother, loving household. And that's what you'll see in this little clip. Hope you enjoy it.
Your father is the one with the guitar.
Yes.
That's his name,
Biddy Fleet.
Biddy Fleet. We don't have the opportunity to say
When
Biddy
you think
Fleet.
of Charlie Parker and you read up on Charlie Parker, all roads to Charlie Parker's epiphany on the saxophone will lead to my father, guitarist Biddy Fleet. Hope you enjoy the clip.
Let's see it. Y llévatelo al mercado to the market. Okay, as usual, you heard me talking. I will never stop talking. Now, Mr. Flynn,
Yes.
one of the other things that I learned from you is the passion of the music and working with the student special education, autistic population, and you get involved with them and you make musicals, events with them.
Right.
Tell us about it.
Right. So God has blessed me with many gifts, and one of the joys of coming here to our school and working with the students within the autistic spectrum is that I saw that each child had a special gift. And if they were involved in some type of production, perhaps, which is what I do also, I can help to enhance or just to show some of their abilities. And so I used to structure and write plays basically around a central theme. Like we did a show about Motown, we had a show about doo-wop, we had a show about rap, and I would include the students and staff as part of the production, but put the students where they could win and succeed at whatever their role was in the play. And it all worked out. And so we had one play about Motown. We had another one about doo-wop, as I said. We also had another one about a celebration, and we had a disco show. You know,
we have one that we've come back to the
Right,
school because we
absolutely.
was outside the
Absolutely.
building.
So some of our students are really excellent in dancing. Some of them are excellent in other areas, like maybe a narrative. Some are very good actors. And so we put all of that together based on their strengths and the theme, and we had a good time. It was each production. And of course, we had Mr. Rivera to make cameo appearances, because now we have a seasoned actor and director as a part of the cast. And also, and other people helped out, and everyone got involved, and we had a great time. Really great time.
And that was one of the things that I really I admire from Mr. Flynn, was how he had the time to find our strengths and weakness to put it in the play. For example, my character was very Hispanic, very strong accent, and he put my character to collect bottles and cans, because that's what I was doing as a recycle thing. I always say, this is to buy a house in Puerto Rico, and he include that in the play. And the kids and everything was that magic. I remember this girl that we cannot mention the kid's name, that I learned with her because she started singing that song, "Stop in the name of God, big." And here I was in the hall singing with her.
Absolutely.
The song too. I was a motivation. Was a shame the program was canceled eventually, and the lack of the arts, the curriculum affect that magic moment that we had the opportunity to do that. And Mr. P was a master. Look, guys, everybody know that I'm directing. I don't know if I can direct the musical, the passion that he did with this kid, the time that he did, the dedication that he did. And I don't know if he want to talk about, but this come out from the school too. One day, here I was in South Manhattan. I don't know if you remember.
Okay.
We talk about, it was a festival, and we was there doing a strat of the musical.
Right.
In the South, where the boats are, I forget the section.
Right, South Street Seaport.
South Street Seaport.
Right. Well, working with our students for me was kind of easy in the process in terms of preparing them for the plays, whether they were musicals or whatever, was the same process that we would normally use. I got the students around and we had a reading. We had a reading of the script, and all of the students who were involved, believe it or not, they just sat around. They had the scripts in front of them. I highlighted when it was a part for them. And regardless of where they were in terms of their abilities, everyone began to understand it. And then it just all came together. It was a beautiful thing to see.
And also with the kids that were nonverbal kids, we were using communication devices because whoever want to be part of the show, and that was what makes the show really good, he will accept it. And then, no matter if they talk, they don't talk. Whoever can dance, whoever can sing. It was a magic. And I remember that was the first time I was singing a musical. Imagine being a musical in South Street, C4, guys.
Yeah, it was great. And, you know, a lot of people ask me, well, how did you get administration to approve this? And my formula was a very simple one. I would show them just a synopsis. Here's the theme. And once I was able to show it and present it to them in a way that they could see, well, here's the date, here's the theme, boom, 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 la, la, la. They approved everyone, and then they started inviting their guests to attend the performances, and that was an extra blessing. And so Mr. Rivera was always, or usually, Mr. Fuego Diego.
That was the name of the character.
Fuego Diego, and he once was a banker, and he fell on hard times, and then he started collecting bottles to make ends meet, and it worked. It resonated.
That was magic. We are saved.
Yeah.
Now, Mr. Fleet, I want to know, where do you perform?
Well, I perform all over the city, and I have a couple of recordings out. I'll be going into the studio soon with an excellent group that I work with now of senior citizens like myself. The name of the group is Seniority.
Whoa!
It's a very large band, mostly R&B band, but we play a little bit of everything, a little bit of pop, a lot of originals, a lot of songs that you know about. So it's people of a certain age, and hopefully soon you'll be hearing more about us, but be on the lookout for Seniority.
Yes, welcome to the club.
Right.
Listen, and I remember I went to a show that you made a night. That was a big thing about jazz.
Which one?
Well, no, it was a big, they gave food and everything. We was eating there and everything. It was crowd like hell, the place.
Yes, okay. This was at a club called Jazz 966 in Brooklyn. And basically, I had two bands there. I had my jazz band, and then I had Seniority. I also wanted to add with Seniority, I attended the High School of Music and Art way back in the early 1970s. And in this band, Seniority, are some of the alumni, some of my classmates who I've known for over 50 years. And so for us to be able to come together and still be able to perform, well, that's a blessing. And so, yeah, it was a great show, great turnout, and we had a good time.
Yes. And I hope now that we're soon to leave this territory and go to another dimension in our careers.
Yes.
I hope I will be part of Seniority. I maybe do some character there. But I want to be in the show.
Okay, we'll work on that.
You promise? Guys, you heard it here, friend, and anything. Now, we will see now a clip that I put together. I select the music and everything. You don't know about this. And this clip, you will see picture of Mr. Fleet in action, and also about his painting and drawing. That I also think that he brings some in person, but that will not be my clip. Enjoy and take it to the market. if you don't believe that what you saw in the clip, here is the real thing. It's all yours.
Okay.
If I have to hold something, give it to me.
No, it's okay. At one point in my life, I wanted to be a comic book artist. So when you go to the movies now, you see all of this Captain America and the Avengers and all of Spider-Man. Well, I had the opportunity to meet the creators behind it. And one was a gentleman by the name of Jack Kirby. Okay, when you see Captain America, the Mighty Thor, all of that, think of Jack Kirby. A lot of people might have heard of a person named Stan Lee. Well, Stan Lee was an editor and a writer for Marvel, but the artist and the creator was Mr. Jack Kirby. And I was able to show him some of the work from my portfolio.
Oh my God, this is an exclusive.
He enjoyed it, and I'm just going to show you a page or two. And this was a fight scene that I was working on with the mutants versus the Fantastic Four, and Mr. Kirby loved that. Okay. And so I also have a superhero of my own, which was inspired by a well-known basketball player in the 1970s named Dr. J. And this is my character based around that. And this character had different type of superpowers. He never eliminated anyone. He was able to convert them from bad to good. And he had different costumes because he had 7 different spirits, but he didn't kill anyone. That's why in this scene here, you'll see like you have to make a judgment. Are you going to go with vice and killing, or are you going to go in another direction? The choice is usually yours. So to make a long story short about the comic book art, I was able to meet with Mr. Kirby, and he directed me to Marvel Comics headquarters. And there I met with a lady named Marie Severin, and she was the colorist for a lot of the Marvel Comics during the Silver Age. She encouraged me further. She directed me to DC Comics like Superman, Batman, where I met a gentleman there, one of their artists and editors, a man named Mr. Vince Coletta. Vince Coletta took me into his office, and he looked through my entire portfolio. This is easily 1976, and he loved it. But I was torn at that time. This is me at age 21. I was torn between music, art. And during that decade, the 1970s, even though I continued to draw, I was more drawn towards music, and that took precedence. But I did then, and I still now have a great affinity for superheroes and comic book art, and I was blessed enough to meet some of the main creators behind it. So the next time you see any Avengers movie or anything Captain America, think of this man, Mr. Jack Kirby, because he's the man, he was the creator, the artist behind all of it, and I had the great pleasure of meeting him, and that was a great honor that I remember to this day.
You let me go with my mouth open. I didn't know that part. You see, every day is a surprise.
Yes.
Well, Mr. James, unfortunately, we get to the finish of the section. I don't know, you want to get a little music with us at the end, or you want to get it for another?
Can I close out with something?
Yes, that will be all you there.
Well, this is my flute, and I love this flute. This is my Haynes flute. And the beautiful thing is you don't need the whole flute to play something melodic. You can just use the head joint. So why don't I just close out on a little head joint music, and it goes something like this. You might have heard it before.
Got it! finally, if we are interested to listen to your music, where can we find?
Right. Well, you can usually hit me up on Facebook. We can become Facebook friends. We are currently in the studio. One of the bands I work with, we will be working on product, and you can listen to something old school. Listen to this club song called Moving and Grooving by a group called Atlantis, because that's when back in 40 years ago, 40, I teamed up with a young man named Teddy Riley, and I know you've heard of him. I like the way you work it, no diggity. Or do you remember the time? Well, that's Teddy Riley, but some of his first recordings was with me. You'll hear my horn section in it, and the song is Keep On Moving and Grooving by Atlantis, and it's a club song, make you do a little dance, but when you hear it, just remember me.
And remember, in the description of this episode, I will include any other information to contact this genius of the arts and the music. I'm very happy that he was part of this section that I created now in English, and he's my third guest here, and I'm really happy and honored that he accepted to be part of this craziness of mine. Please give a like, subscribe to my channel if you are not subscribed, make a comment, and make our life with music.
My buddy.
See you soon, and bye.
Now, how long does